an accident.
So I saw it so late.
Probably my part.
We would have been out.
Daughter's thrilled they canceled school.
Minor
tomorrow.
injuries, nobody got transported, but they were hooking the one car up to the tow truck.
Times.
We are now live streaming.
The husband showed up and they're ready to put it on the tow truck. He's like, oh, no. This is driving, I'll take it off.
Gets 2 minutes.
Was it driving?
Yeah, it was drivable. It was kind of like, it wasn't quite as bad as Clark Griswold's car after he. I don't know if there was any headlights left on it. I don't blame the box.
Yes. The 24 is the one that she marked.
Okay, yeah,
25 will be the grants, the
The
several
first one.
pages.
yeah.
No.
And then 26 will be the dog control.
Okay, thank you.
And that's fully on me. I didn't see it. His email to me came in spam, but somehow you said, Lori,
I thought I saw it somewhere on some list. That might just be
I don't know.
me imagining things too. So.
I saw it on the list. It's on now.
Okay, that's good.
It's exactly what you sent me in our.
I do, all right. So,
I do. I'm going to do the proclamation for the Stony Brook Lights.
Number
Do
12.
that. Oh, no. Are you here to do a presentation?
Yeah, we're informally, Windsor Ridge. I can play back a message I got from Matt Michione. He said the supervisor recommended we address the town board work session today. Play the message.
Nobody called and scheduled this presentation. You got to go call through the supervisor's office and actually schedule it.
He did last week.
Who, last week?
Yeah.
Nobody put it on my agenda. You called the supervisor's office?
And I can play you the voice that I know Matt went to Hawaii, but I requested a meeting with the town attorney and the supervisor.
Okay, what doesn't go through Matt? It goes through the supervisor's office.
Yeah, no, he said he checked with you and your recommendation was scheduled this week.
No, my recommendation was I wasn't going to meet with you guys alone, okay? Because you wanted to meet alone, and I don't do that. So I said, you know, if you want to schedule something and come before the town board, that's what it was.
And it was said, come to this week's works.
Well, I didn't say that. I don't know who set that up.
I can't recall who I spoke to in the supervisor's office, but he told us
what's the difference now?
that we'll be on the 16th at 6:30. That's good.
Okay. All right, let's get started with the work session. Yeah. Okay. Anybody who wants to do presentations, watching on video or whatever, has to get this registered with the supervisor's office and get an email back that it's on there. So again, we don't have people just showing up. That's not how we want to do this, but we will start off tonight with your presentation. So go ahead and step up there and show us what you got.
And first, I apologize for any miscommunication. As somebody on Wednesday or Thursday last week, we were able to come here. What I'd like to present to you guys tonight is the Windsor Ridge South subdivision. This is going to be the continuation of the Windsor Ridge development. I know many of the board members may not have been around on the board at the time of the original development. This project originally consisted of 295 lots extending further west here. It was reviewed by the town, a preliminary plat was approved for the 295 lots, a secret negative declaration was issued. And then this town, as we proceeded through the process following preliminary plat, Erie County had told us that there was concerns with downstream sanitary sewer capacity. So we ultimately were only permitted for the first 100 lots of the development, which already has been constructed. That will consist of Worthington Lane, Parliament Lane, that area that's across the bridge down in Windsor Ridge. Those were approved in 2008 and constructed after that. During that time, following construction, the issues with downstream sanitary sewer were resolved. So then we moved forward with the project again, submitted an application to this town in 2017 with 195 lots at that time. While the planning board had recommended approval, ultimately the town board denied our preliminary plat in 2017. Some of the concerns were regarding wetlands. We've since been working with the wetland agencies, both New York State DEC and Army Corps of Engineers. They've provided us with updated delineations as recent as 2022, and we've been working with them now on the wetland permitting process. As part of that plan, we had certain concessions that we had to make. We gave up Wembley Court, which was originally a court designed up in this area. What we're coming back now into town for is going to be for a 180 lot subdivision with removal of that, so 15 less lots. And we're really just looking to get the process started with the town. We understand that the board wants to see development review applications now before they go straight to the planning board, so that's why we requested to be heard tonight.
I don't have any comment or questions. You got any questions? I do. All right, we'll talk to Matt Fiscione about, what's going on. Go from
I'd
there.
like to continue in the presentation with a few more issues. So we know one of the issues that...
I'm sorry, you are?
My name is Elliot Lasky. I'm one of the owners. I've been involved in the project since the mid-1980s.
Okay.
So it's not a brand-new project. So there is an issue because the town board has come up with a resolution changing the lot sizes of 75-foot lots to 100-foot lots. And the reason I had requested a meeting with the town attorney especially is we believe this is a classic textbook case of vested rights. We had preliminary plat approved in 2008. Part of that approval involved us putting in thousands of feet of off-site sewer to abandon 2 lift stations for the town. That off-site was a benefit for the town. It was also one of the requirements of the approval. All the wetlands mitigation for the project as defined wetlands at the time that we did it was done in advance in the first phase. There was drainage infrastructure, and the bridge was also put together to accommodate the balance of the subdivision. You'll notice there is a resolution with the, I believe, the planning board that the next phase must continue all the way into Bowen Road. There's a traffic and safety issue because if there was ever an accident on that bridge, there's no other way in or out of the subdivision. The reason it got delayed was because of an expiration of a wetlands permit. That is not something the town gets involved with, but between the COVID environment and working with the agencies, it took us 5 years to resolve the wetlands issues. We have resolved it. We've identified the new expanded wetlands. As Ken had mentioned, we eliminated Wembley Court. It's a reduction of 15 lots. The main issue is we believe we have vested rights, and if the issue of the 100-foot versus 75-lot comes up...
So what are they now?
Well, these are all 75-foot lots. Okay. Conforming to, this is an amended map cover submission. It's not a new submission. And I would request, in a friendly setting, that the town attorney sit together with Sean Hopkins, our land use specialist, and Jen Persico. We hope there's no litigation, but that's my litigation specialist on land use, for the town attorney to advise both the town board and the planning board whether we are correct in the position that under vested rights, these 70-foot lots do not change. We have spent several $1 million of infrastructure based on a prior approval. We've conformed with all the requirements. There was a expiration of a wetlands permit, and when the town board issued...
5 minutes, right? Okay. Guys, you get 5 minutes to come and do your presentation. You're going to have to go through the town attorney and present whatever you're going to present. This obviously is going to get locked up in whatever type of proceedings. So you.
Well,
something
wait,
that the-
I don't
the
know if
planning
it's locked.
board-
I don't know. We're asking for the town board to refer this to the planning board. That's what we're asking to do.
Well, there's a lot of legal issues involved. in this whole
Well,
thing.
so I think-
Again, we'll think about it
Yeah.
at this point in time, but we got to talk to the town attorney and see what we're going to do going forward, and talk to the Matt Fiscione, code enforcement, and we'll talk to him and see what, we're not going to give you, I'm not going to give you a recommendation at this point.
No.
No, the board's not going to give you a recommendation to go forward at this point. There's too many things going on. But thanks for coming in. Next time, we'll try to get that straightened out and go from there.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I want to take this time and clear up a couple of things here in the town of Lancaster. First thing I want to do is tell everybody that the state of emergency declaration that was issued at 10 a.m. on 13 January 2024 is still in effect, okay? And it was basically drafted for the anticipated conditions resulting from the weather event that we just went through. We did not end that. I did determine not to end that because I knew additional bad weather was coming. Okay, so that is still in effect. The driving ban, county driving ban was ended. There is no town driving ban at this time. However, if we determine through the police department, highway department, rec department, other individuals in our OEM coordinator, director, is it director or coordinator? Okay. We may make a determination on our own, and we will get that out to the media if we decide that we need a driving ban. If things get as bad as predicted, we'll make that determination. Next, I want to go around the room, but before I even do that, I'd like to thank our highway department, our rec department, our police department, and our director, you are now, from OEM, for all the hard work that they put in over the last several days to keep this town safe and clean. Tremendous job. I was out on the streets, we were getting a little tour, nothing but whiteouts out there when I was driving around. It was crazy. And every time the highway department would go out, they'd get hit with whiteouts in the rec department, and they stuck with it. Highway department people worked well over 30 hours straight, probably 50 hours. Tremendous. Didn't get a chance to go home. They stayed there. Nobody left. They were very dedicated during the whole process. Rec guys were out there quite a bit. Bruce, how long were they out there?
I would say about 30 hours.
Yeah, about
30, 35 hours.
Yeah, 30, 35 hours themselves. Outstanding service to the community. Police department was doing everything that they possibly could to keep things under control. Got to go drive the new UTV around a little bit. Very, very great for going out and doing rescues. And Ron and I were on the phone most of the time. And Ron, thank you very much for everything you did. So thank you to everybody involved in that, keeping this town safe. We are looking at the next storm that's coming up. We'll have the same people in place, a little bit better rested at this point. And we'll, be prepared to do exactly as good a job, if not better. Learned a couple of things during this past one, and we'll move forward with that. Now, that being said, again, thank you very much, guys. Anybody else want to add anything?
Hey, you hit it.
Okay, very good.
Great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, if we go around the room. Ed?
Said the highlights, the front door's open right now temporarily. Seabrook Road culverts, we Mark and John and I went through the consultant packages, made a selection of most qualified. I've reached out to them, waiting for them to submit a draft scope and a fee. Nothing new on the windows here, nothing from New York, still in Albany somewhere. Dog control grant, there's a resolution tonight to support the grant application that is going in next week for the addition. And speaking of grant writing, I gave each of you the proposals we did. We went out to 4 firms, 2 responded with proposals. So whatever your timing is to get back and make a selection, we will do that. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Chief?
So my first go at a winter storm as the police chief, an interesting experience. But I do want to say, in all reality, the department heads, Ron, Bruce, John, the village guys, supervisor, Melissa, yourself, the communication was outstanding. It appeared to be no stone left unturned. We really communicated very well, and we kind of knew what everybody was doing and what the plan of attack was. Made it very easy from our end to know how to deal with it. I think we have a good plan in place for dealing with the Amazon trucks during a snowstorm moving forward. Worked with John Pilato today a little bit, talked to the supervisor about what our plan is going to be to keep them off the roadways as much as possible if they do show back up when there's a driving ban. Other than that, like the supervisor said, the UTV was out. It was fantastic. It went through everything we put it up to, and looking forward to getting the second one hopefully later this week.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce?
Bruce Stutz, Lancaster Parks, Recreation, Forestry, and Buildings. I'm going to echo Chief's first time running point on a storm, a major storm for sure. Learned a lot, getting out in the field and driving with the guys, and crew worked super hard, did a great job, and we were supporting highway, we were supporting police, we were supporting OEM, and great leadership too from the board. Providing guidance. Whenever I asked a question, the answers came back and provided great guidance for me as a first time doing it. So I appreciate that. We're ready for tomorrow. Plows are all gassed up, and we'll do as much or as little as you need. So we're ready to tackle it tomorrow. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Ron?
Thank you. As everybody else said, the communication was great. Sometimes too much, the text messages, fast and furious, probably 500 to, 1,000 text messages coming back and forth. But it was great. Everybody knew what was going on. Nobody was left in the dark. Again, Highway Parks did a fantastic job with the streets and keeping all the lots open. I was in contact with the school district, with Dr. Vallely. He had so many other things going on, he requested not to be part of any kind of email or texting chain, just because he had so many other things going on with the other school districts. So I've been in contact with him today. He requests that moving forward, just to be in the loop on what happens from the town standpoint. Upcoming storm, we're going to run it just like we did the last one. I thought it worked out pretty well. During the storm, we only had one stranded motorist who couldn't get home on his own. I didn't feel the need to set up a warming center just for one individual. So I basically put him in my truck and I drove him to Kenmore to get him home. And the further north you went, the sun was shining and no snow. And then the only other thing I have is I appreciate your support on resolution number 18 for a new vehicle for the department. And I want to thank Tom for his help on putting the resolution together.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Okay, board, why don't we go through the resolutions? I did it already. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you bet. Okay, the first resolution is mine. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 2nd. Second resolution is mine. Approve audited claims. Third is Councilman Dickman.
This is just the, acknowledge the issuance of all the building permits.
Okay, number 4 is mine. Adopt seeker negative declaration regarding local law number 2 of 2024, the moratorium. Number 5 is mine. Adopt local law number 2 of 2024 entitled Moratorium Commercial Residential Development. Number 6 is mine. Approve site plan 6461 Transit Road. Number 7, Mr. Dickman.
This is to set the public hearing for Caliber Collision at 4274 Walden Avenue.
Thank you. Number 8 is mine. Set public hearing regarding local law revision residency requirements. Number 9 is mine, amend salary resolution adopted January 2nd, 2024 for the park crew chief. Number 10 is mine, authorize transfers in the 2023 budget. Number 11, Councilman Dickman.
This is to deem a 2015 Chevy Equinox that the police department uses to deem it as surplus and put up for auction.
Okay, number 12, Councilperson Schroeder could not be here tonight, and Councilperson Melissa Studley is going to handle her resolution.
Yes, this is to approve an expenditure of funds for an RTU blower assembly from Mulberg Betts for the rec department.
Senior center.
Senior center? Okay, senior center.
Number 13 is recognize appointment of Nicholas Swanson. He's going to be our new Director of Administration and Finance in the Supervisor's Office. Number 14 is award of bid for Consolidated Water District System Improvement Contract for Erie Street. Number 15 is appoint Marco Lorenzo, evidence clerk, part-time, permanent at the Police Department. Number 16 is mine, reduce the LIDA board members to 5 members effective January 1st, 2024. Number 17, Councilman Dickman. And 18, please.
Yes, so 17 is for the addition for dog control to go for the grant, but I see there's a suspended resolution here that looks very similar, the first one we got, so I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought as well.
Please forgive me.
Yeah, and it has different dollar amounts. This one is for $255,600. This one says $284, and it says sponsored by Supervisor Leary. So I don't know if one of these is good, one's not.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on there, and somehow I must have found it in junk anyways, but bear with me.
250 is the grant covers.
The suspended is
Okay.
directly from Rotella.
So do we have to do both of these, or?
We don't have to do both, but I would propose that we do the one directly from Rotella with the higher amount, with the 255. They're both 255.
Yeah, I think 255 is the grant amount, the 280 is the full project, the difference being the town's
Okay.
portion.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So I should pull 17 then, and Bob's
Let's do
gonna
the same
sponsor.
thing,
We'll keep 17.
we'll keep 17 out, and I'll ask the board to disregard the suspended.
Okay. Okay. Great.
So, again, 17 is for dog control for 90% grant for the addition. Number 18 is to purchase a brand-new Chevy Tahoe for emergency management.
Number 19 is mine, appoint Dawson Cachet, is that how we say that? Thank you, sir. As a police officer here in the town of Lancaster. Number 20, Councilman Dickman.
Number 20 is to renew a special use permit for Don D'Amato over on 43 Green Meadow for his firearm business. Number 21 is the special use permit for O'Connell Electric. It's just a renewal.
Okay, we're pulling number 22, aren't we? Okay, number 22 resolution will be pulled at this time. And Councilman Dickman, 23.
23 is to amend the vehicle and traffic law so we can amend some parking regulations on Maple Drive and, what was the other one? I'm sorry, Woodgate. And there's one thing here in the last paragraph that we need to change. Oh, no, never mind, I'm sorry. The meeting is going to be on the 12th. Okay.
Correct.
Disregard.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back at 7 o'clock with the regular town board meeting.
We got the 2 suspended, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about those when we come back. Okay?
Let me tell you about the system. This part, you only need once. Okay.
Hey, did you?
So,
Okay, let me make sure I got the 2 correct ones. Put this away.
I think the suspended is pretty.
Okay, this is the one for,
This is 284, for a
Association
total
of
project cost of 284,
okay,
and that's 284. Okay, it is right. Okay, we're good.
okay, this one is going away.
When I went through it, You know what must have happened?
And this one is for the Federal Community Development
Because you sent it
Funds.
to myself and you sent it to Gloria.
Block grant.
She must have got it.
Do.
Did it, put it.
All right, so we only,
And then
that's
today when I'm looking through
25, so
his
that's
email, I'm like,
24.
I don't remember doing this. And then I panicked, so I rushed in and did a suspended.
hang on, sorry, what's this?
I mean, better to have too many, I guess, than not enough. Yeah,
Garbage one? Oh.
Oh, I said, what the heck's on the floor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, I thought it was like broken pieces.
Make sure he's got it. Okay.
So this,
24.
so this only goes once. So this stuff doesn't go on doesn't go on 25.
Okay. It's Gary. Joe. Was it?
Joan.
Joan. Yeah, Joan. Okay, thank you.
So it only has this one. So we just put an X on this, following resolutions.
Okay.
And then we don't do it. They're asking the suspension of necessary rules for the following resolutions. So you don't do each one.
Okay.
When they give it to me, they put it on because what just happened, one gets pulled or whatever.
Sure.
Okay.
So who's doing this? Me?
No, this is 25, so,
Over here, I mean.
yeah, so you're gonna ask.
That's what I usually do, like,
I saw this, and then this, it's granted or not.
It's what?
Granted or denied.
Okay, yeah, okay.
If it's granted, then it's passed. If it's denied, they go. You don't see anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Okay, perfect.
But this part isn't, this part,
Necessary. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
wanted, did he tell you about the motion?
Let's. Sure. Ow.
I was gonna ask about the committee. I tried to get the committee chairs. For a project. Yeah. Who's got what? Who's got what? The last 5 years, MS work meters, found the issue. They fixed it. A lot of it. And that night, a lot of requirements that are new. They also have to work with the which is still pretty thick, but I'll get you a copy of it. Start using it. Okay. It's gonna be a lot of work.
Being summoned to the principal's office.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, same here. I know I was outside and thank you. It's like my phone's all down. Because my son-in-law was over, so they didn't get in their house yet. So I came right through everything, like moving the stuff. So I had 6 hours in the car. So I waited. I'm like, waiting until they come through. She comes back. I know they're not coming back. So I had to, use Greg for a while. Some of the
Sheet I have to fill out. Would you like it down? Sure, I think I
Doesn't matter, I have Adams.
Okay, I'll give it to you now.
Okay, great.
takes no. So, so it's like, I need the 6 cars in the street. Get everything else done, and pushing that weight. I must do it. Every time we move, it looks like it is. So I can really explain that. Watch out. Yeah. And it just, I was like, there's application.
Okay. I don't care. A bunch of pennies.
Yep, that's
I'm like, it's cheap. They were, Paige and MJ will pay. You can need 2 in the ground. And then I'll put the other 2 on the right side facing it so I can one side out. Do that whole, like, most of it all done. And then worry just about 2. I'm like, every year I say the same thing. I'm gonna for outdoors in there. Like, my plan was to get cars in there. That didn't work again.
Slide it up. Slid off the one side, sucked it in. Correct.
I have the old card for Dawson, so we can do it again. That worked out well. We didn't have to worry about coming back.
It's always something.
I did too. I didn't even think I had.
Are you guys ready?
You just knew it, and there was nothing you could do about it.
Oh, man.
I was wondering what you said. What is this?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our January 16th, 2024 Lancaster Town Board meeting. Diane, please call the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Here.
Councilmember Dickman.
Here.
Councilmember Schroeder. Councilmember Studley.
Here.
Supervisor Leary.
Here. Okay. Tonight's meeting, please stand right now for the Pledge of Allegiance by Deputy Terranova, our town clerk, as well as the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our supervisor, for the various levels of town officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work and around our beloved town of Lancaster. Amen.
Amen. Okay, tonight we're going to have 23 pre-filed resolutions, 2 suspended resolutions dealing with the cancellation of the town board meeting on 2/19 and resetting it for 2/12, and for the CDBG for Senior Center grant funding. This town board meeting will close in memory of Gloria Kramer and Beverly Jerwitz. Okay, and right now, what I want to do is ask any members or any person present if they want to come up and address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions, any of the 23 pre-filed resolutions. Please raise your hand and wait till you're recognized. Then you're going to come up, give your name and your address to the town clerk, speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, and speak for only 5 minutes. And if you go longer than 5 minutes, Councilman Burkhardt, what's going to happen there? Okay, there we go.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, I know. I got the bell.
We decided to go with the bell. Does anybody want to address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, we're all set. Nobody's going to address the board on the pre-filed resolutions. There are no public hearings tonight. Does the board have any official reports that they want to make at this point?
No.
Okay, or reports to the town board committees? Okay. I do want to say something before we get started on the resolutions. On the 10th of January, I was lucky enough to go out to a presentation out at Stony Brook Legendary Lights, and we gave them a proclamation from the town board, from the town of Lancaster. I'm going to read it to you, but let me tell you before I even do that. This group over in Stony Brook managed to raise $154,432.52 for charity. Okay, we have 3 members right now. If they'd stand up, I'd appreciate it. Gary, Joan, and Tony. Thanks, guys. Great job. Whereas the Stony Brook Quail Run development located in the town of Lancaster, New York, is made up of over 300 homes spread across 8 streets, and whereas since 2008, Stony Brook Legendary Lights, formerly known as Stony Brook Shines for Others, has been a neighborhood organization known for their community lights display, and whereas Stony Brook Legendary Lights has been devoted to partnering with and donating to local Western New York child-centric charities, and whereas each winter the neighbors decorate their homes with festive decorations and holiday lights that turn on Thanksgiving night and shine nightly through January 1st, and whereas visitors drive or walk through the neighborhood to view the lights and have donated to the Stony Brook Legendary Lights charity, and whereas donations have been collected for Make-A-Wish Foundation of Western New York, the Epilepsy Unit at Children's Hospital, Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, Carly's Club of Western New York, the Ronald McDonald House, the PICU at Children's Hospital, the Kevin Guest House of Buffalo, the Pediatric Essential Care Unit at Hospice, and other charities, and whereas Stony Brook Legendary Lights wishes to make their 2023 donations to the PUNT Pediatric Cancer Collaborative, which provides critical programs to Western New York families facing pediatric cancer diagnosis. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Lancaster Town Supervisor Robert Leary, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby congratulate Stony Brook Legendary Lights, the neighbors, supporters, members, and former members of this exciting charitable donation to one of Western New York's well-deserved institutions. Again, thank you very much for everything you did, folks. All right, now we're going to go through the pre-filed resolutions. I've got number 1. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the Town Board held January 2nd, 2024 be and are hereby approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 2, be it resolved that the following audited claims be and are hereby ordered paid from their respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the supervisor's office, to wit, check run number 011620024, total amount hereby authorized to be paid $868,654.97. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilman Dickman, resolution number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 3 for adoption. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications herein coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and are hereby reaffirmed with the waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster, any future date, reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner. And we have 26 total building permits, 22 in the town, 4 in the village, 1 pool, 3 signs, a demolition, 6 generators, 2 roofs, 4 single-family dwellings, 1 porch, 1 plumbing, and 3 residential additions.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 4, whereas the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 26 of the Town of Lancaster Town Code provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas the Town of Lancaster Town Board is proposing a local law to establish a 1-year moratorium on applications, approvals, and construction of commercial residential development, and whereas the Board has duly considered the action, the environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in 6 NYCRR, Section 617.7, close parentheses, C, and such other information deemed appropriate. And whereas the proposed action has been labeled a Type 2 action under SEQR, and whereas the Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, and has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination, now, therefore, be it resolved, based upon the thorough review and examination of the known facts relating to the action and its careful review of all potentially adverse environmental impacts in the entire record and proceedings relating to the action, the Board finds that the action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Number 2, the attached negative declaration incorporated herein by reference is issued and adopted for the reasons stated therein. Number 3, the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to distribute copies of the resolution as necessary. Number 4, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And number 5, this resolution is effective immediately. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 5. Whereas the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 26 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas a proposed local law of the year 2024 revising the Town of Lancaster Code to establish a 1-year moratorium on applications, approvals, and construction of commercial residential development was introduced to the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster by then Councilmember Leary on the 18th of September, 2023, and whereas the Town Board, acting as lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, has determined the action is a Type 2 action and has issued a negative declaration, and whereas the Town Board called for, noticed, and held public hearings on the proposed local law on October 16th, 2023, and December 4th, 2023, where all interested parties were allowed to address the proposed local law. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that 1, the attached local law number 2 of 2024 is hereby adopted, and 2 on here, the local law shall be effective upon its filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to the municipal home rule law. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
I do have a statement before I vote.
Yes.
As Supervisor Leary has said in the past, this is a pause. This is a time for this board to look at our comprehensive plan. What has been rezoned in the past is that what we're looking for in the future. We're looking for smart development that is houses as well as businesses. What is it going to look like for us now and the future and make it a better place to live? Get rid of, in the past, there were cookie cutter contracts, and I'm not sure you know what that is. Easements that the town owned were sold to developers, but how that's done is it's put in the paper. The people that are butting up against that easement don't know that's being sold. It's sold to someone in the inside, sold to the contractor or builder 5 times, maybe more than what they paid for it, so they can stuff another house in. That's not going to happen anymore. Any loopholes, we're going to look at so that we can determine, is this the best thing for Lancaster? Traffic studies within that comprehensive plan. We always get traffic studies from the state and county. We're going to sit down with Ed and us and look at what in the town. We have intersections. What are the busiest? What makes sense? And have maybe, was it 4 of them?
Yeah, probably half a dozen to 8, probably.
Okay. Look at it and get a traffic study, what's coming in and out of Lancaster. Not on the state roads, not on the county roads, Lancaster itself. And we'll be able to use that information this year and years down the road when we're looking at this. And the great planning department that Mr. Fowler has put together is going to bring this all together. So hopefully in a year, we have a great plan moving forward for the town of Lancaster for everyone involved. So that is why I'm voting yes on the moratorium.
Any other comments?
Yes, I do have a comment as well, if that's
Go ahead.
okay, unless you have one.
Go for it.
All right. So before I cast my vote on this very important issue, I would like to say something not only to the members of this board, but to the people of Lancaster. First, I'm highly honored to take my seat as council member, but I'm equally proud to be a resident of Lancaster. I have lived here most of my life since I was 7. I attended school through Lancaster District. I lived at home when going to college. My husband and his family grew up here in Lancaster. And the choice was simple. We chose to stay here. I want my child to experience the friendly, bonded kinship, which is the Lancaster family. I want to inspire my child with a strong sense of community, to value civic responsibility, and feel compassion for her neighbors. Like Lancaster, like every rising community, has its own unique challenges, and it is clear to me that Lancaster's is overdevelopment. In my many years, I have seen Lancaster, without prudent regard for public safety, consumed by the wishes of developers. I've heard voices of those challenged by traffic issues at Genesee and Harris Hill, Walden and Central, William and Aurora. I heard the explosions and saw with my own eyes the home of my neighbor on Pleasant View. It burned to the ground as firemen struggled with low water pressure, a problem that's directly associated with infrastructure, with our infrastructure that's incapable of keeping pace with the current rate of development. For years, other town boards and members failed to address the safety, health, and quality of life concerns of our own residents. The infrastructure in our town needs to be addressed. This resolution, perhaps the most important one this board will consider, will not only define this board, but will determine who is sovereign in Lancaster, the special interests or the people. So it is for my child, for my neighbors, and for my community that I vote yes.
Councilmember Dickman, anything else to add?
No, I just, I mean, both of you guys said basically what I was gonna say. I'd just like to reiterate that this is just temporary. We're not against development, we want responsible development, and that's all it
Yeah.
is. It's only a one-year thing, so we can go over, all the information, and we're gonna do, a bunch of studies on different things. And it's not an attack on anybody, like we've heard, this is just to help the residents, so we're not burdening people. You shouldn't, we shouldn't allow residents to suffer because of the infringement of a new subdevelopment, especially people that have been here, lifelong residents in Lancaster. It's not fair, and we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. This is a temporary moratorium, and within the next year, we'll get everything ironed out, and we'll be able to move forward with a good plan that's gonna work for everybody.
Thank you all for that. We still got to do on the roll.
Okay. Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Okay. Resolution number 6. Whereas Mark Velacci of Silvestri Architects, located on Millersport Highway in Amherst, as designee for Russell Salvatore Jr. of Salvatore's Italian Garden, has submitted an amended site plan prepared by GPI Engineering, Landscape Architect and Surveying, located on Genesee Street in Buffalo, New York, dated December 3rd, 2019, with revisions dated May 19th, 2023, to the drawing for the proposed construction of an awning covering a part of an existing patio at 6461 Transit Road in the town of Lancaster. And whereas the site plan for this project was submitted to the planning board and was approved at their October 4th, 2023 meeting, and there being no changes to the plan, said review was granted pending variance approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. And whereas on December 14th, 2023, the Zoning Board of Appeals of the town of Lancaster reviewed and granted the application of Mark Velacci Silvestri Architects for a variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the site plan submitted by Mark Velacci of Silvestri Architects as designee for Russell Salvatore Jr. of Salvatore's Italian Gardens for an amended site plan prepared by GPI Engineering, dated December 3rd, 2019, with revisions dated May 19th, for the proposed construction of an awning covering a part of an existing patio, again, located at 6461 Transit Road in the town of Lancaster, New York. SBL number 93.05-2-1.1. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, please take number 7.
Thank you. Mis-
Mark Volitz with Silvestri Architects. The approval of the town tonight, does that include approval of the building permit itself, or is it just approved to be reviewed by the building department?
You have to get permits directly from the Buildings and Codes Department from Mr. Shields' office.
Okay, so that still needs to be submitted for a permit and approved by the building
Yes.
department? This is just simply a town board approval of the project?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take care.
Honorable Supervisor and Town Board, I move Resolution 7. Whereas Donald Babcock Jr., on behalf of Body Works New York LLC, doing business as Caliber Collision Centers, has submitted an application for a special use permit to use the premise of 4274 Walden Avenue to operate an auto body and paint repair shop in the light industrial zoning district in accordance with provisions in light industrial, off-street parking, loading, and stacking facilities of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. And whereas Section 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Zoning Code of the Town of Lancaster requires that the Town Board conduct a public hearing before the issuance of a special use permit. Now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing on the proposed special use permit for Donald Babcock Jr. on behalf of Body Works of New York LLC, DBA Caliber Collision Centers, to operate an auto body and paint repair shop at 4274 Walden Avenue will be held at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 5th day of February 2024 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and that notice of time and place of such hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee, a newspaper of general circulation in said town, and be posted on the town bulletin board, and that a copy of such notice of hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, which shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 8. Whereas the municipal home rule law of the state of New York and Chapter 26 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster is considering a local law amendment to Chapter 53, residency requirements of the Town of Lancaster Code, amending Section 53-2, C, hiring of employees to include criteria for hiring of non-civil service full-time professionals by the Town of Lancaster, a copy of which local law is available for review at the Town Hall, and whereas pursuant to the Town of Lancaster Code and the Municipal Home Rule Law, a public hearing is required on the local law. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that 1, a public hearing for the revised local law amendment to Chapter 53 residency requirements of the Town of Lancaster Code, amending Section 53-2C, hiring of employees to include criteria for hiring of non-civil service full-time professionals by the Town of Lancaster, is hereby set for the 5th day of February at 7:05 p.m. Number 2, the town clerk is directed to provide notice of the public hearing as required by law, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof. And number 3, this resolution is effective immediately. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 9. Okay. Whereas on January 2nd, 2024, at the organizational meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, a resolution setting the salaries of various non-union represented town employees to be paid biweekly was approved, and whereas upon review of the town clerk, Diane Terranova noticed an error of omission regarding the town parks, recreation, forestry, and building parks crew chief, Bruce Stutz, and whereas upon the direction of the town supervisor, a resolution correcting the omission to add the parks crew chief name and salary be presented to the town board for consideration. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted January 2nd, 2024, setting the salaries of various non-union represented town employees be and is hereby amended to include the following: to be paid biweekly, Parks, Recreation, Forestry, and Buildings, Park Crew Chief Bruce Stutz, $35.70 per hour. And be it further resolved that this resolution takes effect retroactively to January 1st, 2024, and the supervisor is authorized to take whatever action is necessary to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 10. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for the 2023 fiscal year, and whereas one or more town departments have made budget transfers or have requested budget transfers contrary to the originally adopted operating budget for the 2023 fiscal year, and whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has duly considered the following budget transfers on behalf of the police chief, requested by Chief Gummo, transfer $18,844.08 from account year 2023 budget account 53120.443 range supplies to account year 2024 budget account 53120.443 range supplies, encumbrance to cover products ordered in I-223 but not yet invoiced. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the budget transfers above described. Is this supposed to be I-223?
In 2023.
Oh, in 2023. That's okay. So we're going to make that change on all the resolutions here.
Got it.
Okay. All right. And what we do is when we got to move money around, we do it by resolution so the public is aware of what we're doing. So if you're looking at the budget and you want to know why things have changed, We want to make sure you know what we're doing. It's for transparency. And again, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the budget transfers above described. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder? I'm sorry, Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 11, Councilman Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 11 for adoption, whereas Police Captain Jonathan Zeiters of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated January 9th, 2024, has advised the Town Board that the Police Department no longer has use for the following vehicle and has therefore requested that the Town Board deem the vehicle to be surplus and permit it to be replaced on the online auction. It's a 2015 Chevy Equinox with about 78,000 miles. Whereas the Town Board has given due consideration to the request of Captain Zeiters and deems it in the public interest to declare the above described vehicle to be surplus and permit placement of said vehicle on online auction for public bid. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby declares the above described vehicle 2015 Chevy Equinox to be surplus and authorizes Police Captain Jonathan Zeiters to place said vehicle up on public bid at an online auction with Auctions International beginning January 18, 2024 and concluding February 1st, 2024, with the funds received from said auction to be made payable to the Town of Lancaster and delivered to the Town Supervisor's office.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 12, Councilmember Schroeder could not be here this evening, so Councilmember Studley will be reading resolution number 12.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. Whereas Bruce Stutz, Park Crew Chief for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated January 5th, 2024, has informed the Town of Lancaster that the R2U2 blower assembly for the York rooftop heating unit at the Senior Center requires replacement. And whereas this was an emergency replacement and the job was performed by Molenberg Betts Incorporated, whereas letter dated January 5th, 2024, Park Crew Chief Stutz has recommended that the Town of Lancaster approve the cost of the emergency replacement of the RTU2 blower assembly for the York rooftop heating unit to Molenberg Betts Incorporated in the total amount of $2,976, and whereas the funding for the emergency replacement will be taken out of the building repairs and maintenance account. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditure of funds as requested by Bruce Stutz to Molenberg Betts not to exceed the amount of $2,976 for the emergency replacement of the RTU2 blower assembly for the rooftop heating unit at the Senior Center. And be it further resolved, the funding for the repairs will be taken out of the building repairs and maintenance account.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 13, whereas Robert Leary, Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster, has appointed Nicholas Swanson to the position of Director of Administration and Finance in the Town of Lancaster Supervisor's Office. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Lancaster hereby recognizes the appointment of Nicholas Swanson of Alden, New York, to the position of Director of Administration and Finance in the Town of Lancaster Supervisor's Office, effective January 24th, 2024, pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the Civil Service Law. Be it further resolved that Nicholas Swanson of Alden, New York, be and is hereby appointed to the full-time position of Director of Administration and Finance in the Town of Lancaster Supervisor's Office, and an annual salary of $72,728.13 on step, which represents 85% of the full salary of $84,521.88, contingent upon approval by the Erie County Department of Personnel. Be it further resolved that the Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, I just want to say Nick is not here tonight. He's on his honeymoon. He will be showing up in the office on January 24th, so it's a pretty good reason not to be here tonight. On the question, anybody else on the question? And on the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 14, whereas the town board has previously duly advertised for bids for the Consolidated Water District Water System Improvements, contract number TLN-15, Erie Street, and whereas 7 bids were received, opened, and reviewed on January 4th, 2024 at 10 a.m., and whereas Edward Schiller, P.E., the town's consulting engineer, by letter dated January 5th, 2024, has recommended awarding the bid to E&R General Construction Incorporated, being the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $793,875. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby awards the bid for the Consolidated Water District Water System Improvements Contract TLN-15 to E&R Construction Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $793,875, again being the lowest responsible bidder in conformance with the specifications on file in the office of William Shutt and Associates. Be it further resolved that the expenses will be paid for from account 90228 Water Lines, Erie Street and Cemetery Road to Steinfeld and Cemetery Road, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the contract upon receipt, approval of the required documents and insurance certificates by the town attorney's office. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 15. Whereas on December 4th, 2023, the Lancaster Town Board authorized creation of a new evidence clerk position, part-time in the town's police department, and whereas by letter dated January 9th, 2024, Chief William Gummo has recommended Marco Lorienzo to fill the position, now therefore be it resolved that Marco Lorienzo of Lancaster, New York, is hereby appointed to the following part-time permanent position of evidence clerk in the town of Lancaster Police Department, working not more than 19 3/4 hours per week, and that this being a part-time position provides no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. Be it further resolved, an hourly, hang on a second, Marco Lorienzo, evidence clerk, hourly rate of $30, and it is effective February 1st, 2024. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 16. Whereas New York State General Municipal Law, Section 898-A, allows the Lancaster Town Board to appoint between 3 and 7 members to the Town of Lancaster Industrial Development Board, known as LIDA, and whereas the Lancaster Town Board has discussed and agreed that the LIDA Board and the residents of the Town of Lancaster would be best served by reducing the LIDA Board to 5 members effective as of January 1, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the LIDA Board shall consist of 5 members to serve without compensation and are hereby appointed for the 2024 calendar year or until further notice as follows: Robert Leary, Kevin Leemaster, Patrick Sportelli, Dr. Ronald Braun, and Grant Getzoni. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. And do we have Kevin Leemaster? Do we have the doctor here? You gentlemen want to stand up and just so people can see? Anybody else? Mr. Getzoni around? Thank you for volunteering. Councilmember Dickman, resolution number 17, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I sponsor Resolutions 17 and 18. Whereas the Town of Lancaster Town Board desires to build an addition to the existing dog control facility with a total project cost of $284,000. The current dog shelter located at 525 Payment Road in the town of Lancaster is inadequate in its current state. Therefore, the town of Lancaster is submitting this application to request funding to build an addition to the existing dog shelter that will meet and exceed all current guidelines for the safety of the staff and dogs. And whereas the town of Lancaster Town Board has endorsed an application requesting the amount not to exceed $255,600 for financial assistance through the New York State Companion Animal Capital Project Fund, administered by the Department of Agriculture and Markets in the form of grant funding. This project is eligible for 90% of the total project cost, as the Lancaster Dog Shelter serves 3 jurisdictions: the town of Lancaster, Village of Lancaster, and Village of Depew. And whereas the town of Lancaster commits to providing the required 10% match and all funds necessary to complete the project beyond the 10%, which is $28,400, if necessary, and will complete the project within a 24-month period to ensure the timely implementation and completion of the proposed project. Now therefore be it resolved that Robert Leary, as supervisor of the town of Lancaster, or such person's successor, is hereby authorized and directed to file an application to the New York State Department of Agricultural and Market Companion Animal Capital Project Fund for funds in an amount not to exceed $255,600, and upon approval of said request, to enter into and execute a project agreement with the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets for such financial assistance to the town of Lancaster, New York, for an addition to the existing dog control facility. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to and directed to execute documentation upon town attorney approval.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? And I just want to say this is another big improvement to our dog control facility. Adam started this years ago with some other people. I jumped in there, Mark jumped in there, and we all pushed to keep this thing rolling, and it's getting better and better, and your dogs will be treated as well as they possibly can. So thank you. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes.
Resolution 18, whereas the town of Lancaster Disaster Coordinator Ronald Rosler, by letter dated December 26, 2023, has requested the purchase of one new and unused 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe for use by the town of Lancaster Office of Emergency Management. And whereas the above referenced vehicle is available for purchase under New York State's piggybacking law through the Fabius Fire District from authorized vendor DeNuyer Chevrolet of Albany, New York, which eliminates the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of General Municipal Law. And whereas Disaster Coordinator Ronald Rosler has recommended the purchase of the vehicle in accordance with said specifications to be made from DeNuyer Chevrolet at a price not to exceed $53,292.50 per their proposal, and which will be paid for with funds from the 2024 Disaster Preparedness Budget Line number 23670.22. And whereas the town board deems it in the public interest to approve the purchase of said vehicle, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of one new and unused 2023 Chevy Tahoe under New York State's piggybacking law through Fabius Fire District from authorized vendor DeNuyer Chevrolet for use by the town of Lancaster Office of Emergency Management as proposed by Ron Rosler, Disaster Coordinator, at a cost not to exceed $53,292.50 to be paid for out of the 2024 Disaster Preparedness Budget Line.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 19. Whereas William Gummel, Police Chief of the town of Lancaster, by letter dated January 9th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of Dawson Cachette of Lancaster, New York, to the position of police officer in the town of Lancaster Police Department, and whereas Dawson Cachette is eligible for appointment to this position pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the New York State Civil Service Law, now therefore be it resolved that Dawson Cachette is hereby appointed to the position of police officer in the town of Lancaster Police Department effective January 22nd, 2024, contingent upon approval by the Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiations agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the Cayuga Club Police Benevolent Association and all applicable provisions of law, and be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Dawson, please stand up. Congratulations. Welcome to the Town of Lancaster Police Department. We got a great police department under the leadership of Chief Gummo. I spent 26 and a half years in federal law enforcement myself. Obviously, you're going to see a lot as you go around. We appreciate everything you're doing to protect the residents of this town. So welcome on board and stay safe. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Resolution number 20, Councilmember Dickman.
Thank you again, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I offer Resolutions 20 and 21 for adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has held a public hearing upon the application of Donald D'Amato for a special use permit for a home occupation of firearm sales, Viper Firearms, on the premise located at 43 Green Meadow Drive, Lancaster, New York, and the Board issued the special use permit January 2nd, 2018. Whereas per the terms and conditions, the special use permit is up for renewal. Whereas by letter dated December 1st, 2024, Donald D'Amato has requested that the Town Board renew the special use permit for an additional 2-year term. And whereas Code Enforcement Officer Matt Fiscione has recommended approval of the special use permit per his letter dated January 9th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant renewal of the special use permit to Don D'Amato for the home occupation of firearm sales for Viper's Firearms on the premise of 43 Green Meadow Drive, Lancaster, New York, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning January 2nd, 2024, and ending January 1st, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions as set forth in home occupations and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, as long as the applicant continues to engage in this home occupation on the premise and to any additional conditions listed, namely, and there are a few conditions that I believe are all the same from the last special use permit.
We have a second.
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Number 23, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing December 20th, 2021, upon the application of Brad Keatley, Division Manager of O'Connell Electric Company Incorporated, whose corporate headquarters is at 830 Phillips Road, Victor, New York.
Hey, hang on one second. I'm sorry, did you say 23?
21.
21, okay. Just want to be clear.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Brad Keatley, Buffalo Division Manager of O'Connell Electric, whose corporate headquarters is Victor, New York, for a special use permit to operate an electrical services business, which includes retail sales on the premise locally known as 20 Lancaster Parkway in the Town of Lancaster. And whereas by letter dated December 28, 2023, Chris Wall, Buffalo General Manager for O'Connell Electric, has requested that the Town Board renew their special use permit for an additional 2-year period. And whereas Matt Fiscione, the town's code enforcement officer, completed an on-site inspection and found the property compliant to the original conditions of the special use permit and noted that no retail sales currently exist at this facility per his letter dated January 9, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a renewal of the special use permit to O'Connell Electric Company to allow the operation of an electrical services business on the premise known as 20 Lancaster Parkway in the Town of Lancaster upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of January 3rd, 2024 through January 2nd, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in special use permits to the Code of the Town of Lancaster and to any additional conditions listed herein if the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed on the premise, namely, and there are 3 original conditions that are the same.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 22 is being pulled at the request of the highway superintendent at this time. So, resolution number 23, Councilmember Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. For Resolution 23 for adoption. Whereas Section 1660-18 Vehicle and Traffic Law of the State of New York authorizes the town to restrict or limit the stopping, standing, or parking of vehicles on roadways within the town except state highways. And whereas January 4, 2024, Town of Lancaster Captain of Police Jonathan Zeiters has informed the town board of the need to add no parking signs in the town of Lancaster in the following areas. Number 1 is Sarah Lane. There will be no parking signs placed on both sides of the roadway 50 feet from Country Place, prohibiting parking from the corner of Country Place and Sarah Lane for 250 feet. Parking will be allowed north from the end of the no parking zone to Woodgate Drive. Number 2 will be Maple Drive in Bowmansville, and this is the eastern side of the roadway around 119, 123, 125, and 127 Maple. There will be no parking signs placed 50 feet from the traffic-controlled turn where Maple Drive turns from a northerly direction to a westerly direction towards Transit Road. The sign placement will prohibit 250 feet south of the traffic-controlled turn. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster deems it in the public interest to make certain amendments to the town ordinance entitled Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance of the Town of Lancaster, County of Erie, State of New York, designated as Chapter 350 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. Now, therefore, be it resolved that a public hearing on the proposed amendments to Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 350, Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance, Article 10, Section 350-15 and 350-16 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, County of Erie, and State of New York will be held at the Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 12th of February, 2024, 7:05 p.m. local time, and that notice of time and place of such hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee newspaper, being a newspaper of general circulation in said town, and posted to the town bulletin board, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. As I mentioned before, we have 2 suspended resolutions. At this point, I am requesting a suspension of the necessary rules for immediate consideration of the following resolutions.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Suspension is granted.
The following resolution, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has approved and promulgated its meeting schedule for the year 2024, and whereas it is anticipated that due to the board members' attendance at the annual Association of Towns Training Conference, the meeting currently set for February 19th, 2024, will not attain a quorum for the transaction of town business, and whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster wishes to cancel the scheduled meeting for February 19th, 2024, and add a meeting instead for February 12th, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby cancels the meeting scheduled for February 19th, 2024, and schedules a meeting for February 12th, 2024, to be held at Lancaster Town Hall, right here at 21 Central Avenue, at 7:00 p.m. local time, and that notice of said cancellation and addition, as well as the time and place of the added meeting, be published in the official newspaper of general circulation for the town and be posted on the town bulletin board. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Suspended resolution, or 25th resolution of the evening. Whereas the Town Board of Lancaster has applied for federal community development funds, known as Community Development Block Grant Funds, for the 2023-2024 year, and whereas a component of the town receiving these funds, Town of Lancaster must hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing public comments on the Senior Center Improvement Project under current Community Development Block Grant CDBG, project number 2628 CVPF 41-21. The CDBG program is administered by New York State Office of Community Renewal and provides resources to eligible local governments for housing, economic development, public facilities, public infrastructure, and planning activities with the principal purpose of benefiting low or moderate income persons. The hearing will provide further information about the progress of the ongoing project. These included the construction of a large pavilion for seniors, activities, sidewalk upgrades, meeting ADA standards, improvements to pickleball courts with full fencing, and the acquisition of a larger passenger van for transportation during various activities. These initiatives collectively contributed to the overall success and improvement of the Senior Center's offerings to the community, made possible through funding from the CDBG CV grant project number 2628 CVPF 41-21. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster deems it in the public interest and a requirement of the grant funding to hold a public hearing to provide an opportunity for citizens to express community development and housing needs and to discuss proposals to meet those needs, to assist the Town Board in the development of the town's application for community development block grant funds. Comments related to the effectiveness of administration of the CDBG project will also be received at this time. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to Section 570.486, Subpart 1 of the CFR, in compliance with the requirements of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Town of Lancaster will hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing public comments on the Senior Center Improvement Project and how it is administered by New York State Office of Community Renewal and provides resources to eligible local governments for housing, economic development, public facilities, public infrastructure, planning activities with the principal purpose of benefiting low and moderate income persons. The hearing will provide further information about the progress of the project. And again, those included the pavilion, sidewalk upgrades, ADA standards, and the sidewalks, and the pickleball courts. These initiatives collectively contributed to the overall success, as we said previously. Comments related to the effectiveness of the administration of the CDBG project will also be received at this time. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to Section 570.486. Be it further resolved that the public hearing for purposes above described will be held right here at the Town Hall in Lancaster, as stated before, on the 12th day of February, and place of such hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee, a local newspaper of general circulation in said town, and on the town bulletin board. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, it's the part of the meeting where we go through the communications. Number 25, resolution last meeting. Number 26, received and filed. Number 27, resolution tonight. Number 28, resolution tonight. Number 29, received and filed. Number 30, to the Drainage Committee. Number 31, to the Planning Committee. Number 32, to the Planning Committee. Number 33, resolution tonight. Number 34, received and filed. And I just want to point out here, this was about the chili chowder soup and dessert cook-off on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. And judging will take place from 1 to 1:30 p.m. And this is at the Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urban Post, the VFW post over there on Walden Avenue. And we hope everybody can make it. Number 35, received and filed. Number 36, received and filed. Number 37, Town Engineer. Number 38, Town Engineer. 39, resolution tonight. 40, resolution tonight. 41, received and filed. 42, received and filed. 43, Planning Committee. 44, Planning Committee. 45, Planning Committee. 46, Code Enforcement. 47, resolution tonight. 48, resolution tonight. 49, resolution tonight. 50, received and filed. 51, resolution tonight. 52, resolution tonight. 53, for resolution. And 54, received and filed. Okay. And at this point in time, the town board will hear the concerns of any person wishing to address the town board on any town of Lancaster subject. And again, you can speak for 5 minutes. Please raise your hand and be recognized again by the supervisor. Give your name and address to the town clerk. Speak directly to the town board members and not the audience. And speak once for 5 minutes or less. Do we have anybody who wants to address the town board at this point? On any matter? Asking once, asking twice, and asking 3 times. Okay. And that is the end of our town board meeting this evening. Is there anything else we need to cover? Oh, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
Roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
And now is the end of the meeting. Yeah.
Got it. I voted for Lieutenant Colonel.
Oh, you got promoted? Whoa. Hey, if you didn't hear that, our council member, Mark Burkhardt, got promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Lieutenant Colonel Burkhardt. I like that.
Hey, congratulations. Can we get a picture with you with the town board members? Sign.